All right, guys, another edition of Real Talk, and we're talking about Georgia commitments right here. Let's take a look at the second highest rated guy in the class. That's Big Tate Ratledge out of Rome, Georgia, Darlington High School. Mike Johnson, you've chopped up this guy's film. You got a lot to say. Let's start looking about what Mr. Ratledge, near five-star status already, what he could bring to the table for Georgia. Right away, Mike, you see him working as a left tackle here in Darlington. Small school football, this is his junior film. What jumps out at you?
Well, I think first of all, it's core strength. And, you can talk about a lot of different things when it comes to offensive linemen. You're going to talk about foot speed, you're going to talk about upper body strength. But he really seems to have great core strength. And what I mean by that is watch him roll his hips. It's not so much that you don't see the great foot speed, but you see the core strength where he's going to stay locked in and he's not going to let somebody shed him once he's able to get on top of them. And that's what's so great about this film right here. Watch, when he gets his hands on, he almost looks a little slow-footed in these videos, and the hand placement's not always great, but once he has that, the core strength really takes over, and he's able to really control the body of the defender and is able to kind of take them down a lot of times. I mean, those are just straight up mismatches on the film you're watching right now.
You see him, and it's kind of gets lost on folks. Sometimes you see a film and you go, okay, this is an athlete working here on the offensive line. It's not lost to those who read Dog Nation that you even saw it when you were going through his film. This young man's punting for his high school team, and here's what you like about this film as we keep jumping into it. Now, he looks good as a junior, but then senior year, this is spring heading into his senior year at the opening, and Mike, he has blossomed.
No, it's really incredible, and this is some of the best camp film that we've seen in quite some time. And when you talk about the ability, and listen, anybody who's been around high schoolers, specifically high school offensive linemen, one of the hardest things to get high school offensive linemen to understand is to keep the weight on the inside foot, to take away the inside pass move. There's just no inside rush to be had there. I mean, he's setting these guys absolutely down. His core strength has taken over. His upper body strength has obviously come a long way. I also want to point this out because we might see this on film here in a little bit. Watch how his heels stay on the ground here. That's one of the other things that's very difficult with high school offensive linemen, to get them to understand that your calf muscles are not as strong as your quads and as your hamstrings and as your glutes. A lot of high school offensive linemen want to stay on their toes because they feel like that gives them better extension. Even in his stance right here, you can tell he's working to keep that back heel on the ground, and that's why he's so good at taking away a lot of these inside pass rush moves. Is he can put that heel on the ground, he can react with his quads, with his hamstrings back to the inside, and not wait for that heel to hit the ground. It's impressive. I mean, you can tell that he's got a very, very good offensive line coach in high school, and he is just absolutely dominating this camp right now. This is his impressive film.
It's kind of like he has a force field on the pocket back there. And you know the things, Mike, we got to notice here is right tackle. He lines up a lot in these camps at right tackle. In this day and age, are guys still a right tackle guy, a left tackle guy, especially when you think about them on Saturdays and Sundays? What do you see here?
Well, I think that he's going to be a guy that can play multiple positions. I mean, I think he could kick inside to guard if he wanted to. Obviously, he's a very talented tackle. And I think the reason I even bring up guard is because of that core strength. You know, so many times on the inside, and I try to get people to understand when I talk about core strength, you see the slap moves and the swim moves and trying to get guys off balance. When you have core strength the way he does, it's not very easy to make moves on him. You can't just rip around. You're not going to knock his shoulders out of the way. You're not going to get him off balance because his core is so locked in. I think he's easily a right tackle. I think he can probably play left tackle in a pinch if you needed him to. But I think he would, if you look at it right here, he feels very, very comfortable on the right side, and his footwork's very, very good. I think he could plug in right away at right tackle.
I think he's got the right dose of nasty here, if you know what I mean.
Completely agree, yeah.
You look at him, and physical football comes really easy to listen.
Yeah, I mean, you love the extension, and you love you love guys that are not afraid to mix it up, specifically on the camp circuit. Listen, there's no helmets, there's no pads. Hey, listen, I'm just here. I am what I am. But he obviously, has the ability to do that, and you love a little nasty attitude. Listen, these defensive linemen and these pass rushers, they're used to getting sacks and doing dances in the backfield, and really, they're the freakish athletes. But these offensive linemen aren't afraid to kind of put it out there and say, you know what, I'm pretty good too.
Let's spotlight this one right here. This is Myles Murphy, a top 15 player in this class going to Clemson, and this is great on great. What do you see out of this matchup here?
Well, I think first of all, you can see the quickness in the feet, and he's not trying to overset. A lot of times when you line up against a guy like Myles Murphy, you say, the speed rush is coming. I have to be able to get out in front of him. He's very, very comfortable in his set. He understands that he has the footwork to be able to get back, to the depth of that quarterback in the pocket and still protect him while also taking away the inside pass rush. And I agree with you. I mean, that's good on good right there, and in a couple of good battles they definitely had.
You see guys right there, Myles Murphy, elite ball get off, but when you see Tate Ratledge, right now trending 5-star status, a top 35, top 40 player. I look at this young man, and I think he's going to keep a lot of jerseys clean in Athens
I think so
for
too.
3 or 4 years. Real talk, keeping it real. Mike Johnson, I'm Jeff Sintel. Thanks for joining.